So I came back out and blocked that hole up again and put some wood on it on the bottom and on the top. So, but like I said, these things they had came, they had gone, and the whole point of their visit. And when I went back in that bedroom, the gun cabinet was open. They had gotten in that gun cabinet, and that just happened to be where I'd kept that laser. And I seen that gun cabinet open, and I thought, man, I'm walking around this house with a golf club, and I could have had a shotgun. But the problem, I didn't grab the shotgun because I thought I'd have to go find the key, and I had to come back and open this thing up. And I had no idea they had opened it. But there was a shotgun right there readily available that I could have had instead of a golf club. And I thought, well, that explains it. They came to get the laser that I had shot at the craft. And I looked in there, and there was the laser box. I opened the laser box, expecting the laser to be gone, but there it was. It was still there. The laser was still right there. I don't know if they didn't find it or if they had got it and looked at it and left it. But the whole thing, it was like the whole encounter had stopped when they got to the point where the laser was being kept. So I just have to assume that laser was probably the purpose of the visit, checking it out, seeing what it was. Maybe they had never seen one. I don't know. It inspired their curiosity to check it out. They didn't take it. Maybe they just looked at it. Maybe they x-rayed it. I don't know what they did with it. But these things were odd. They were little ugly creatures. And I've seen the ET since. I met them up close and personal. Finally, I met them. They finally introduced themselves to me. And these weren't these little guys. This is the only encounter I had with these little guys. And I think these little guys are like a recon team for the other aliens. They're subservience of something else. And these little guys are excellent at what they do. They're like a recon team. And what they were doing was exactly what they were good at. And that's the way it was. I've seen several different species. This is a groups of several different species from several different planets working together for a common goal. Is who these guys are. And these guys, like I said, I'm finally going to get to meet them. But before I got to meet them, it was exactly 1 year after this home invasion. And I was down there working. I was down there getting a load of crude oil. And I was in my truck, and it was early. It was like 9 o'clock at night. And it hadn't been dark all that long. And I went down there and getting this load of oil. And I hadn't seen anything in a solid year. And I thought, well, I guess they're done with me. I'll never see anything like that again. It's almost as scary as it was. It was almost disappointing, when you see that kind of stuff and then all of a sudden there's nothing. Life is just back to normal again. I'd gone a year without seeing anything, which is disappointed that I hadn't seen anything. And all of a sudden I go down here to this lease not expecting to see anything. In fact, I was on the phone with a friend of mine. I pulled up on this lease, and all of a sudden these lights came on, and it probably wasn't 50 yards from me. And it was right on the ground, and they were parked on the ground. These lights came on, this thing took off from the ground, and it flew over these mesquite trees. These mesquite trees ain't about 15, 20 feet tall. And so this thing took off the ground, and as soon as it got high enough to clear the mesquite trees, it started moving, and it was going to move right over my truck, man. So I hung up the phone, and I loaded up my camera, and I was hanging out of my truck window up to the waist, waiting for this thing to pass over me and hoping to get a good picture of it. And this thing just blinked out, and I couldn't see anything. I couldn't hear anything. This thing had to have passed right over the top of my truck, and I couldn't see anything. I mean, it just lifted up, started moving over the trees, and then all the lights just blinked out on it, and it was just total darkness, no sound whatsoever. And it had to pass right over me. And I was frustrated that I couldn't get a picture of that. So I was sitting there, but I had a thinking suspicious. These guys, they didn't leave. They're still out here somewhere watching me from the dark or something. And I started doing my job, and I looked up out there, and all of a sudden these lights came on, probably a quarter mile from me over the trees. And I thought, there they are. I know it. I know they didn't leave. They're still hanging out over there. And then this thing, I got my lights up, and I started getting some pictures. I was excited, man. It's the first time I'd been able to get some pictures of this thing. And MoFone had been harassing me like, hey, get some pictures, Ronnie. We'd love to believe you if you could get some pictures. And so I was determined to get some pictures. So, and I got my camera out, And man, I was getting some pictures of some lights, and man, I was taking some pictures of some stupid lights. But lights, that's about the worst. If you see lights, that's amazing, it's awesome, but they don't prove anything to people who are out there, the debunkers and non-believers. When you show them a picture of a light in the darkness, that don't mean anything to them. That just means you're taking pictures of street lights while you're on drugs or something like that. They don't. So I was happy to get a picture of anything. So I was snapping away, and I didn't know, but unfortunately, I was filling my memory up on my camera. That this 2011, I had this flip phone, and it was a Motorola Tundra, which was a fancy ass military phone. Waterproof and stuff, and that was a good phone at the time. And the reason I spent the extra money to get this phone because it had the better camera. It was waterproof, it was rugged, and it could survive out there in the oil field. And that's the reason I had this thing. And I was getting some pictures of these lights, but I was filling my memory up that I would need later. And,
hey, can I interrupt you on this radio? This is Series 1, Episode 1 with Ronnie Dawson. And I just wanted to intervene a quick infomercial for Motorola because I use Motorola too. Maybe we can get them in the future to sponsor us. But what if I still have a Motorola, but what was that Motorola Tundra waterproof? Because I need a waterproof so I can start taking pictures around Gulf Breeze outside. But I use Consumer Cellular. Can you tell me, do you have a Motorola now? But let's do a cell phone infomercial for you and me. For maybe they'll come sponsor us in the future. You never know. And they can go to patreon.com/Teresa J. Morris because there's so many Teresa Morrises. Teresa J. Morris. But what kind of phone you have now, Ronnie? We'll just put in too. I got two Motorola's and a Samsung. I hadn't got into all those Apple products because I was a writer, journalist, investigative reporter.
Oh, yeah.
So I went with Microsoft and Word, and I use WordPress and GoDaddy. But what do you use for a phone right now? And then we'll get back to your story.
Yeah, right now I just ordered the new Galaxy S10. It's that new Samsung phone that they just come out with not long ago. So I'm using a Galaxy 7 right now, and I'm taking some pictures with it, and it's not bad. But, the truth is not many of these cameras out there actually do really well at night. These cameras, taking pictures of UFOs at night, nobody really does very good at it, unfortunately.
Well, we need them for the UFO conferences because, like you said, they don't believe us anyway. And the ETs used to wouldn't let me. I had the best cameras. This was before, in the 80s, and because I worked as an investigator. But, I had the best Pentax, the best Canon, and all that high-resolution stuff. But can you tell me the next generation of Galaxy is the 20? They got 3 epic model news about Galaxy 20. But every once in a while, around the hour, folks, we'll do a little quick infomercial because some of my directors, program managers of other stations don't like me to do infomercials. But, folks, we never know when we're going to get a sponsor that likes our paranormal, spirituality, psychic. Our new paranormal is the new normal, too. So, Ronnie's trying to help me get where I can pay my bills here. And some of them are just giving me $1 a month on Patreon, some $5 a month. So what you got here? You think Samsung? I'm looking at the 20 on my computer. There's 3 epic models. But it says, so you got the 10? You got the
I got
Galaxy
the S10
10?
Plus. Yeah, S10 Plus we got it ordered right now. We're actually waiting on it. So, I'm excited every time they come out with new phones and I actually get one because the cameras are always better than the ones before. So it's exciting to get a.
Well, did you know about this S20? Oh my God, it's $1,199, isn't it?
Yeah, the Ultra.
Man.
Yeah, that's the one. I looked at it. I wanted it. I just couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford it.
Well, AT&T, you can buy them monthly for $40 a month. But let me go see what the newest Motorola is because I love Motorola. As a truck driver, we use Motorola a lot.
Well, me and my wife are S10 for the new Galaxy 20 20 Ultra would cost. So I wanted it really bad, but I had to go a little bit cheaper.
Motorola G7, is that the latest one? It says Motorola Droid Turbo. And what one are you familiar with? You said in this episode, in this audio book, you talked about the Tundra. I don't even see it on here.
No,
did you say Tundra? Motorola.
Yeah. Back in 2011, the Tundra was. I thought it was about one of the better phones out there, and it competed with the Rugby and some of them other phones like that was weatherproof and rugged, that oilfield workers loved to carry around because they were waterproof and rugged. But I've had phones just break so much. Yeah, they just couldn't take vibration beating, So the Tundra was an excellent phone at that time, and that's what I caught the UFO pictures, and it was one of the first cameras that had video capabilities on it, which was another selling item, because I wanted to get a video, and I'm grateful that it did have video on it, because this mothership a little bit later flew over me, and I actually caught on video 15 seconds of footage that captured the left-hand side of this mile-long craft. And a lot of my UFO pictures that we've taken those still frames from that 15 seconds of footage, and we've zoomed in, and I've had it analyzed, and I've had it vetted by some of the best experts in the world, and they said, yeah, these are real pictures. They're not manipulated. We don't know what it is, but we know it's not been manufactured. And
well, do you have somebody that can help us analyze pictures? Because one of our members, Steve, he does UFO stuff, but he's in California. I have a whole bunch of our members in our ACO club in California helping us out, some on spiritual, some UFO, some alien contact. And you chose paranormal so we could handle Bigfoot and other things. I've got some people that do paranormal too, because on our ACO club. But I'll let you get back to your story, Ronnie. But since we do an hour, and then in the future, just watch the clock when we start, and it gives us a little break if people need to go pee or get them something to drink, because a lot of them are listening right now because we have a huge, over 1 million followers on Blog Talk, and Ahmad was proud of that, even though he knows it took me 8 years to build it on Blog Talk. But now, and I want to do a little push for Rev Radio, Revolution.radio, because I said I wasn't going to promote them nothing, but I can't help myself. And Janet Lesson on Aquarian Radio, because they're my two best friends in radio. So I'm just going to plug them right now in the middle. All right, back to you, Ronnie, and you're plugging for me for New Mexico. But, folks, I have to do it state by state because I have a federal ID to operate, and then I have my FCC license in the United States of America, and they only let me do America, North and South America. But they can hear me all over the world, Australia and the Emirates, and I have people all over, and I have my people, Russ Kellett in the UK and Tommy Hawks. I better remember Tommy. Tommy's one of our dollar members, and he's been with me forever. He helps me with the articles and bylaws for our Ascension Center Ohana, which they actually have a non-denominational church. Ohana means family Hawaiian, so to speak. But just so you know, because my daughter helped me when she was 16 in Hawaii, 89 to 94, I put up the first Ascension Center. And we do Ascension Center, we do Ancient Mystery Schools, and I've got the first original books before they ever even existed. And then Tony Stubbs did a book, and his Miss Flower, she's got a publishing company, and Arizona. So I help all the hypnotists in Arizona and all those people. And she did Michael Sala's book, so Michael stays with me in Norio Hawakawa. So, all right, well, that's enough infomercial. All right, back to you for the second part of the Series 1, Episode 1, and they're going to be on Ronnie Dawson's page on acoclub.app. That's right, folks, app. And then we got it on Spreaker. I have to pay an extra $95 a month for it so y'all can see it on y'all's radio. I mean on your cell phones, all right? And just hit it, and it should come up. If it don't, call me. 850-376-9100, and it's supposed to make a little app on your phone. But if it don't, call me because we'll get it all fixed in May. All right, back to you, Ronnie. I'm going to help Ronnie weekly. He's going to help me.